Perpetual. In this position, white is down 7 queens. So they go for a perpetual check to avoid losing and end the game in a draw. Desperado. It happens when a player makes one last advantageous move with a piece that cannot be saved from being captured. In this example, the knight on a8 is going down, so you might as well take a pawn on your way out. Zugzwang, or nobody really knows how to write it.
Oh my god, this is Zugzwang?
It happens when any legal move will worsen the position of a player. In this example, black has to move one of the knights, and whatever you choose, it will stop defending one of these two squares, and that will be a checkmate on the next move. Alekhine gun. It's created when all of the heavyweight pieces are on the same file. In this situation, after queen to c1, white has an Alekhine gun on the c file. Battery. Same thing as the Alekhine gun, but it can also happen with the bishop. In this example, after queen to d3, the white pieces have a queen-bishop battery and is threatening checkmate in one move. Deflection is a move that distracts the enemy piece off its square and away from the defensive role. In this case, white can go bishop takes f7 check, forcing the king to leave the queen behind without any defense. En passant, or cheating, as most people below 1000 refers to this move, happens when a player moves the pawn up 2 spaces and it lands right next to your pawn. You can now capture the pawn diagonally, but only for this move. If you move something else, then the superpower goes away, unless it happens again with another pawn.
Oh, it's checkmate. Oh, I can en-passant. Oh my god, wait, do I checkmate or do I en-passant? Bro, I'll en-passant. I'm gonna checkmate him on the next move anyway, so it's all good.
Double check. How can you give a second check if there was already a first check? Well, it actually happens after a discovered check, which is simultaneously giving 2 checks at the same time. In this example, the white pieces can go bishop takes e5, giving a check with the rook on g1 and with the bishop on e5 at the same time. Once the king moves, you can just grab the queen and run. Fork. This happens when one of your pieces is attacking 2 or more of the enemy pieces at the same time. In this example, knight to d3 would be forking the king and the rook, but the queen is defending that square. So first we can just play queen takes b2, and once they take back, now the queen is not defending d3 anymore, and we can make the royal fork.
Oops. That's a family fork?
Smothering. It is a checkmate delivered by the knight, in which the king is unable to move because it is surrounded by its own pieces.
Smothered checkmate?
Overloading. When a piece is given too many defensive duties at the same time and cannot execute them properly. The rook on c8 is defending the bishop on c1, but also the back rank for any checkmates. So after bishop to b7, the rook has to leave one of the defensive roles behind. If it goes to b8, we can just take the bishop for free. And if you take the bishop on b7, then that will be a checkmate. Pin. This happens when a piece is attacked, and moving it would expose a more valuable piece. In this situation, the black pieces can go queen to d1 check. That looks like a free queen, but the queen on g4 can't really move, because that would expose the king to a check. So you have to move the king first, and that will be a free queen. Skewer. Very similar to what a pin is, but this time the attack piece is the most valuable one. In this case, the king is in danger, and once you move it, the rook on b7 will be fully exposed. Stalemate. This happens when the player who has to move has no legal moves, and is not in check.
Watch it, watch it, watch it. Yes. Okay.
X-ray. This occurs when one of your pieces is looking at one of your opponent's pieces, but there's something on the way. In this example, the queen on b7 is looking at the king on g7 via an X-ray. So we can go knight to e6 with a royal fork. That looks like a free knight and then we'll just take it. But now we can go rook to e7 check, moving the queen away from the defense of the rook on c8. Windmill is a combination of discovered checks, usually by the rook and the bishop, and can win a massive amount of material. In this example, we can just move the bishop back and forth, taking every single pawn along the way. Once the king is on b8, we just give a check with the bishop, forcing the king to go back into the X-ray of the rook, and then we just keep giving checks and taking pieces. Mating net. When your pieces work together to prevent the opposing king to escape from the mating attack. In this situation, after pawn to e4, it is impossible to prevent both rook to f7 or knight to g4 checkmate at the same time. So the king is in a mating net. Clearance. A sacrifice when a piece is moved from a square to open up space for another piece. In this case, it looks like white has unstoppable checkmate on h8, but the black pieces can go rook to h5, sacrificing the rook, and after they take it, now we can go queen to e5 check, forcing the queen trade and winning the game. Subscribe and turn on the notifications, and I will see you in the next game.